Scott. This is my TED Talk on animal cruelty. So I'm just gonna start it. So, nearly 1 million animals are victim of animal cruelty, whether they're abused or they actually die from it. Um, uh, According to the Humane Society of the United States, an animal suffers from animal abuse every 60 seconds. So every minute. Of these animals, 65% are dogs, which is one of the most common pets in America. Uh, just like humans, they develop mental disabilities from these things, such as PTSD. Uh, PTSD is when you or your surroundings trigger a memory that can lead to panic attacks or stress. Uh, so I'm sure you can already tell my stance on the subject. I think it's terrible. It's awful. It should be banned. I think it's on the same level as domestic violence. And, you know, I think people who benefit from listening to this are pet owners, aspiring pet owners, law enforcement, and domestic violence victims. Uh, so we can help save just millions of pets worldwide. Um, First, we should go over the common types of animal abuse. So the most common types are hoarding of animals, which is having more pets than you should. Uh, Beating of animals, forcing animals to fight, shooting animals, stabbing animals, mutilation of animals. Uh, this abusive behavior can either lead to uh, crippling disabilities for your entire life or a short term, or they can even lead to just death. Um, so we're gonna go over the short term effects. The short term effects can be as little as just being a little bit shy around people, a little bit skittish, to broken bones and starvation. Um, these short term effects can leave these animals not trusting of people or other animals around them. Um, it could also lead to them being abused even more because when they finally get into these shelters and are up for adoption again, these pet owners, they can adopt them, and if they don't like what they see, if they're being shy or anything, it could lead to them getting abused again. Um, uh, so short term effects are not the only thing that affect them. It's long term effects too. Long term effects could be like lost limbs from repeated beatings, stabbings, shootings, all the way up to mental disabilities like PTSD. Um, it's not confirmed how many animals suffer from PTSD that are animal abused victims, but it's confirmed that a majority of them do suffer from PTSD. Another thing that they could suffer from is Addison's disease. This is actually pretty personal to me. I'll get into that in a second. But Addison's disease is basically when your adrenal gland isn't producing enough hormones for your body's needs. These hormones are called cortisol and aldosterone. Um, and basically, when you don't produce enough of these, you get stress, and the stress can lead to fatal panic attacks. You can die from it, and it's very uncommon, but it's found that dogs who are victims of animal abuse are more likely to get it. So this story is personal to me because one of my pets who we actually rescued, he actually has Addison's disease because he was formerly abused. We don't know of any like physical uh, physical things that happened, like him being beat or stuff like that. But we know that he was a victim of hoarding. The person had way too many dogs, and we also know that he was very starved and dehydrated. So we, we adopted him. After about a year of dealing with the short-term effects, we found out that he had Addison's disease, and basically he's fine now, but every single day he has to take steroids to keep his adrenal gland working at a proper speed, which I hate to think what would have happened if we didn't get him and find out about that. But moving on from that, um, there's actually a strong correlation between animal abuse and domestic violence. So, a study done in Australia showed that. Sorry, I have to scroll down to my thing. A study in Australia found out that 100% of sexual homicide offenders who were surveyed, at least, had a past in animal abuse. They abused animals in the past. According to the Animal Welfare Institute, about 49% to 71% of abused women reported animal abuse in their homes. Both animal abuse and domestic violence are federal offenses. They put you in jail for a long time. So I feel like people need to understand how important animal abuse is, how it's pretty much on the same level as domestic violence. Over, over time, none of these, or both of these problems haven't produced less victims. It's going at the same rate. Not enough things are being done to help. So, what can we do to help? Well, you can donate to animal rescues and shelters. Some of the good ones to donate to are the Humane Society, North Mech Animal Rescue, and South Charlotte Dog Rescue. Both North Mech Animal Rescue and South Charlotte Dog Rescue are local to North Carolina. And if you see animals being abused, contact law enforcement, contact a rescue. You could also start your own rescue to help these dogs, or adopt as many as you can that are being abused so that you can help them. So, whatever you do, just know that there's millions of animals out there that can potentially be saved if we, try to help. So, thank you for listening.